I wanted to believe, but the tools have been taken away. The X-Files have been shut down. They closed our eyes. Our voices have been silenced. Our ears now deaf to the realms of extreme possibilities.
Reinstatement of the X-Files must be undeniable.
Welcome everybody to the Dark Talk Files, episode 27, Blood. I am your host, Dan, and I'm here with my FBI bro, my partner, but we're still not quite reunited yet, but we're working on it. Paul, how's it going?
It's going very well, thank you, Dan. How are you?
I'm okay. So,
Good.
Blood, here we are, episode 3.
Yeah, Blood.
Do you remember this one from when you were younger?
I didn't. I was going through it, and then, like, Ed, I kind of sort of getting a bit, like, flashbacks of what he was going to end up doing. Clock tower style shit. And I remembered that before it happened. So, yeah, like, bits of it came to me, but mostly I didn't remember this, no.
I did. I thought this was, so way back in season 1 when we covered Ghost in the Machine, I thought Ghost in the Machine was this episode, because the title made me think what all this is. But then when we watched Ghost in the Machine, I was like, oh, it's not that. So, yeah. I remember this episode, I just didn't remember when it was coming. I think we mentioned last episode that we thought this was going to be a vampire episode.
Well, you're going to, aren't you? Because it's called Blood. And Ed, the actor who plays Ed, was in True Blood. So
he was, yeah. William Sanderson.
Yeah.
I recognise him from Deadwood more than True Blood, because I've not really seen True Blood.
That rhymes, and you could make a song out of that.
Well, you're the musician.
Yeah, but I'm not a rapper. It sounds like it would be better as a rap, you know?
He was also in Blade Runner as well.
He was. He's the guy who has the toys, isn't he?
He's not one of the replicants, is he?
No, he takes in Daryl Hannah's character, and she starts. Yeah, he's in that little like fucking that weird like puppet place, isn't he?
I remember now. Yeah, I remember.
And she befriends him, or vice versa. And
that is you're making me want to watch Blade Runner now. That is a film and a half.
It is so good. I watch Blade Runner all the time.
Which cut do you prefer?
So I can tell you which cut that I never want to see again ever.
Right, okay.
So I'm not actually sure what the cut is referred to as.
Is it the one, let me see if I can guess the one. Is it the one with Harrison Ford's narration over the top?
Yes, it's the director's cut from 1992. And apparently the final cut from 2007. Oh, no, hold on. I don't know. There are so many fucking cuts of this. Anyway, yeah, it's that one. It's the one with Harrison Ford's narration. Like, it is hysterical. He is so funny. And some offensive language in there as well. And, like, you can tell that he didn't want to do it at all. And he purposely made it bad so that they would leave it out.
He's so grumpy. He never wants to be in any of his films, does he? Like, he hates Star Wars.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I don't blame him on that one. So, yeah, I had to sleep in this house for my job. And there was no TV or anything. So I ended up just going on my phone. I went on Prime Video and Blade Runner was on there. I was like, oh, shit, yeah. And I put it on. And then, like, this monologue started happening. I was like, what the fuck? And it just went on. And I Googled it immediately. And it was like, yeah, there's a version with narration. And I was like, it sounds like fucking Naked Gun. It was terrible.
Just looking it up now, that is the American theatrical release from 1982.
Right.
So I've only ever seen what I can assume is the final cut from 2007. So because I came to that film quite late.
I saw it in the 90s with my brother, and my brother's a bit older than me, and he had the CD of the soundtrack, and I used to listen to it quite a lot. So it was like one of those films that
it's amazing.
It's so good. I've already been thinking about Blade Runner this morning, in fact, because there was something in X-Files which sounded a bit Blade Runner. So maybe we'll get to that next episode.
Maybe we will. Right. So Blood. We open up to a US mail sorting office, and this mail sorting dude is Ed Funch, who is referred to as Funchy.
Funchy.
I was just thinking of Frank Grimes from The Simpsons. Grimy, as he liked to be known.
Well, I was thinking of the other guy from The Simpsons, old Gil Gunderson.
He is, isn't he? He's like Gil from The Simpsons.
He's like, he arrives to get a new job, and they're like, sorry, we're not taking any applications. He's like, oh, Gil.
Come on, you got to help old Gil.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Funch gets a paper cut, and he is not a fan of blood. His day also gets worse when he gets laid off by his boss due to corporate cost cutting. So it's last in, first out, which sucks because he's one of the best workers there. And you just know some useless turd that's been there for 25 years is keeping their job. That's the way the world works, isn't it? So as he's working his final shift, Ed is surprised when the LED screen starts recommending Metallica albums to him. It says, "Kill 'em all!" I mean, I'd rather go with Ride the Lightning, but there we are.
You have stole my joke from later on.
Got it in there first.
I'm going to say it now. I was going to be like, at the end, I was going to be like, well, who was the killer? And I was going to be like, well, it's probably James Hetfield from Metallica.
So we meet this second dude who was also getting recommended Metallica albums in the lift. Now, this is some corporate dude, and he murders a bunch of people, then suicides himself by cop. He's gone on a kill frenzy in the lift. So, what do you think of this premise for an episode? People getting ordered to kill by technology. Subtle messages that only they can see.
I'll start out by telling you how I feel about this episode in full. I really like this episode. I had a really good time watching it. I love the small town stuff. I love the conspiracy-esque thing where it's like only certain people are having this thing happen to them and no one else can see it. I like that kind of stuff. Truman Show-y kind of stuff. So, I thought all the acting was great. We're just lacking that Mulder and Scully thing again,
You can't get over this, can you?
No, it's painful, physically painful. Yeah, but how about you? What do you reckon of the premise of these tropes?
Yeah, I fucking really love it. And as we go on a bit later on, we find it's just like it's so sinister. Like it's just so sinister because this is like skipping ahead, spoilers. But whatever it is that is doing this gets away with it. It's never found, and the only person in the world that knows it happened is Mulder. As though like it's a win for the bad guys, this one. But creepy ass shit this episode. Really, really. It's way scarier than Ghost in the Machine as an episode.
Oh fucking hell, yeah. It's a great example of not giving the bad guy a backstory, and to the point of not even revealing who the fuck did it and like what did it. That leaves it so much more terrifying. Because it is a terrifying aspect, really. If that happened in real life, the world would shit its pants. Yeah,
it would. So Mulder is on the case, and he meets the sheriff, who is played by John Saigon, who voiced Solidus in Metal Gear 2. I love his voice in Metal Gear 2. Sadly, no longer with us. The sheriff explains that this sleepy Pennsylvania county has only ever had 5 murders since colonial times, so it's a proper like home county's lovely place to live, But the murder rate has tripled in the past week. All the killings have been similar. They went on a rampage and then were all shot by cops, and they're all middle-income dudes with no reason to murder, so they're statistically more likely to be the victims of crime rather than the perpetrators.
Yeah, and it explains the difference between serial killers and spree killers, and so these are technically spree killers because they don't want to try and get away with it. They're going to end up dead at the end of it, So there are a lot of mirrors to like real-life spree killers in this, I would say. Definitely the ending.
Yeah, it's the whole like, this is before Columbine, isn't it? That's the big one, isn't it?
Yeah.
We don't get that often in the UK. I mean, there has been like Dunblane and shootings like that, spree killers, and obviously terrorist attacks. But yeah. Well, that took a little dark turn, didn't it?
Yeah. It's a dark episode, though. To be fair.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. The subject matter is really quite dark. Yeah.
Well, the one that I was referring to was Charles Whitman, the clock tower shooter from Texas.
And there was do you remember the Washington DC sniper? Do you remember that as well? It was probably about 2002. There was just some guy shooting people on the freeway. I'm sure it was the freeway sniper. Anyway,
right, yeah.
So Mulder examines the body of the lift spree killer, and Mulder notices some kind of powdery residue under his fingernails, which led me to conclude that the killer, he was a baker. He wasn't cooperative.
It led me to think that the killer does not know how to wipe his ass properly. Pushing too hard on that old toilet paper. It's going straight through into his poop.
I like this scene. We get a cool scene of Scully reading Mulder's report on the spree killings, which is narrated by a Mulder voiceover. And as she's reading it, Mulder eventually starts to mention UFOs and abductions, and it pauses, and Scully's like, I was wondering when you were going to get to that. But then Mulder says, like, I find no evidence of UFOs or aliens here. Scully's like, what? She's like, fuck, he's doing some real work.
You still had to drop in UFOs, though.
Yeah, every report's got everything.
He just has to clarify in every report that it's not UFOs.
I mean, statistically, it happens to Mulder a lot more than it happens to any other agent. Like, he's seen in how many episodes? He's seen UFOs like at least 4 or 5 times, or come into close contact with them. Like most agents go all their entire career without seeing an alien.
Yeah, so he has to clarify when things aren't aliens, as opposed to using the evidence to clarify that it is.
How did you feel about Scully here being on her own, away from Mulder? Did this trigger you?
Yeah, it makes me sad. Yeah, but you can tell that. So, like in the trivia from the last episode, it said that her baby had just been born, so she's obviously having some maternity leave and having a bit of time off. So she's doing that. Her scenes are from a random art office. It probably took her about a day to shoot. Similarly in the next episode as well. So I can empathise with that rather than feel sad about it. So it's okay. It's fine.
They'll be back together. Don't worry.
I know.
So Mulder has noticed that each murder scene had an electronic device smashed up. So a fax machine, a pager, and a gas pump display. Now, it's funny that the gas pump display is probably the only thing of those 3 that is still in use today. Do people still use fax machines?
I highly doubt it.
Do people use pages?
I've never even known really what a pager is. I remember seeing it on Friends and people having pages and stuff like that, and I was like, what the fuck is a pager?
Yeah, is it just like a text message machine, basically, that you hang on your belt?
I always assumed it was just like you get a beep from a number, which implies that you should ring them. That's what I thought it was, but I don't know.
Yeah, really out-of-date technology now. So, our next scene, we meet this woman who goes to this sinister and shadowy garage to pick up her car, and the episode frames it as if the creepy mechanic is the threat. However, I've written her name down, it was Mrs. Milf. She is the real threat when she gets the kill 'em all instructions on the mechanic's diagnostics display, which I love the way this thing looks. It looks like something from the Nostromo, like the green lettering on the black background. It looks fucking awesome, yeah.
Yeah, it's that good.
The display says that he is lying and he's a rapist, so kill him first. And she clobbers this dude with a tire iron. And then this knife she pulls out, right? I don't know where she gets this knife from, but it's like a zombie knife. It's fucking brutal looking.
Well, first of all, right, when it's displaying messages to it, and then it just pops up with "he will rape you," I was like, "Fucking hell!"
Like, yeah.
That word isn't a nice word, and we get censored a lot these days, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It does. It shouldn't, but it does, yeah.
No, I don't like the word. It's a scary word, and I was thinking about it. Like, if you add a G in front of it, it's a very not scary word, And I ended up going on this like thought process of all of the words that sound scary, but if you add like a different letter, it's a bit like on The Office, when if you change the R in murder, it would be muckduck, and that's not scary at all. But I always thought the word cunt wasn't that bad because it sounds a bit like currant, and then that reminds me of a currant bun, and then that's like not scary at all, or not bad at all. So if you call someone a currant, which is very similar, you're not going to offend them because they'll be like, "Why you called me like a raisin, you bellend?"
So that zombie knife with that lying around the garage, I can only conclude that this mechanic was a murderer, because why would you have that thing lying around? So I think she saved herself. I think he was, because he was creepy and weird anyway. But he had that in his garage. So
he was creepy and weird, but then when he started explaining about the car, he just like clicked into this completely normal dude. So he's like he's a mechanic, so he's probably got all sorts of shite lying around to to just do whatever he needs to do with it. So that's my way of thought anyway.
Yeah, but what does he need to do with that knife?
Maybe it's for his protection from women like her, from Mrs. McRoberts, stupid name.
Played by Aisling Gear, who is a former pornographic film actress.
Oh. Well, my plans for today have changed slightly.
So, after the murder, Mulder and the sheriff visit Mrs. McRoberts' house, and she is an anomaly for these murders because she's female, and she also hasn't suicided by cop. yet.
Can I just ask you one thing? So Mulder is looking through the mechanic's notebook, isn't he? And the cop says, this has no connection. And Mulder sees something on a page and he says, actually, it does have a connection. I missed what the connection was there, so I was hoping you could explain it to me rather than rewind it.
I have forgotten. No, I have forgotten. I can't remember what it is. I think they just see her name on the customer list. I don't know.
Okay.
So while she is being questioned, Mrs. McRoberts starts seeing displays on her microwave which tell her that Mulder knows that she's guilty and that she must now kill him. So she comes at Mulder Norman Bates style, wielding this chef's knife, and she comes close to actually finishing him off at this point. Like, she's got him pinned down. Like, he can't do anything. He's dropped his gun. She's like got the knife up in the air. And she's shot and killed by the sheriff. But even then, Mulder is like, no, because he just like, he cares more about evidence than his own life.
Yeah, of course. He would rather take her in alive so that they can check up on her and, figure out what's going on than be alive. Be the owner of 2 arms, because she nearly cut one of those off. And
she's
bad,
fucking brutal.
Pretty bad attack,
That's the closest he's come to death all series. Like, everything else he's faced, he's like, he's never been like this housewife with this housewife wielding a knife is like, nearly got him.
Yeah.
So Scully runs a MILF autopsy and she discovers the same chemicals on McRoberts as the first dude, and it's basically LSD, but for fear. It makes you crazy, which sounds fucking horrible. It's like scarecrow gas. Like,
yeah, that's what I was thinking. That was the first thing I thought of. Yeah. LSDM, they call it, I think, don't they?
Yeah, something like that. So these people that are doing this, the spree killers, have they been doused with this chemical and then they're receiving the messages, or are they hallucinating the messages?
From what I gather is these people have been exposed to this chemical, which makes them susceptible to subliminal messaging, and somebody is aware of this, and somebody has been sending those subliminal messages to them somehow.
Yeah, okay.
So that's basically it.
We'll go with that. We'll go with that. So while all this has been going on, Ed Funchy from the mail sorting office, he's been having a shit old time. So he's been trying to withdraw cash, and his cash machine experience is like whenever I visit mine, so the machine starts sending me hostile messages. Except mine is usually just overdraft related, not instructions to commit violent public mass murders.
Getting the old Patrick Bateman treatment here, isn't he?
Oh yeah, feed me a stray cat.
Feed me a stray cat.
And later on, Ed is looking for a job at this department store, and as he's wandering around, the TV, this is fucking scary as shit as well. The TV displays start showing him a bunch of like Clockwork Orange shit, like wars and murders and executions and like Charles Manson, and I was like, fuck it, now that would like, if that happened as you were walking past, that would just fuck you up, with or without the chemicals.
It was like the beginning of the video for Here to Stay by Korn, showing all those like disgusting things. But imagine having like a paranoid delusion where you see things like this all the time. That would be a good story as well. Yeah.
That would also be an awful thing to happen to anybody.
Like what Eric Cartman sees when he closes his eyes. Do you remember that?
Didn't they try that in the Psycho remake with Vince Vaughn? I think during the shower scene, the stabbing scene, it cuts to like a woman blindfolded and like a cow in the middle of the road, just to like be a bit more artistic. It's fucking shit.
Well, they touched upon that in the Bone Temple, didn't they?
Do you mean what the infected see?
Yeah,
they did. We'll save our Bone Temple talk for another time, but so this TV directs Funchy to the gun section of the supermarket, which is just baffling to me as a resident of the UK, that you can just go into like a supermarket and you can buy rifles and shotguns and all kinds of things. They're just hanging from the shelves for anybody to pick up and grab. It's mad.
Well, when I went to America, I went to Florida, and we went to a Walmart, and I was walking through the aisles, and there was a pillar, literally a holding up the ceiling pillar, and inside of it was an oven, which you could just open the door of and take a freshly baked pizza out of, right? And then you could continue on your shop. You could go and buy some yogurt, some spring water, and then right around the corner, you can buy some AK bullets. It was really fucking weird. And it was just like the Apple section in Tesco,
The Apple section.
The fruit aisle.
So Mulder is out jogging, and he sees a guy on a garbage truck throwing out a pesticide powder which kills wasps and flies. So Mulder has a theory. So he picks up one of the dead flies and he takes it to the lone gunman. Takes the dead fly to them, and the gunman explained that there's a new hyper-mental version of LSD on these flies, and it's some kind of new pesticide which can also affect humans. Good to see the gunman back.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I missed those guys.
They only appeared once last season, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, yeah. The good old Lone Rangers. I don't know if they had plans for them at that point in the last season, so this is probably just, maybe they're just bringing them back just to add them in a few episodes and then realise that they'll get quite popular. But so they explain that this is DDT, which was a chemical used in the 40s and 50s to essentially get rid of pests. And I was reading up on it a little bit, and I think the main pest that they wanted to get rid of was mosquitoes. Then obviously we come to the conspiracy side of it in this episode, which is about how it being sprayed on humans could be a cause of breast cancer, and they fully believe that, and etc., etc. And I looked into that, and I was like, that is very interesting if that's real, but there's no actual scientific link to that. It is definitely just more of a conspiracy. So
I mean, when you think about it, like everything that you do these days has got something that can cause cancer. You know, like because the weather's been cold here, starting my car to like defrost it and de-ice it, and then I walk back and front over the car just to make sure it's all completely clear. And I walk through the exhaust fumes, and that shit is like everywhere. It's everywhere. You're breathing that shit in all day. You got everything, like I think aerosols, like food has cancer-causing chemicals in the preservatives. I'm not saying that I'm not like a conspiracy theorist, but like all this shit. That's why cancer cases. It's like 1 in 2 people will get cancer now, rather than it used to be 1 in 4, and it's because of modern life. All this sort of shit. I'm not saying it's 5G or Wi-Fi or any of that mad shit. I'm just saying like there's so much crap in the air and the way we live that's it's gonna happen.
Yeah, from what I've read about it and heard about it, it's food is the big thing. Like genetically modified food. I heard this the other day. It said that have you ever tried those candy floss flavored grapes?
No, I haven't.
No, they're really nice, but I heard someone says that they inject them to make them have that flavour. It was like, inject each individual grape, but this thing that they inject it with can give you cancer and stuff. And I was like, no, they're just grapes that taste a little bit like candy floss. And someone's clicked and gone, we could market this as candy floss grapes. But yeah.
That's great.
But yeah, food, I think food is the biggest thing.
Yeah, because everything's got preservatives in it now as well. So, there's that, and then fatty oils and things like that. Yeah. I feel like Joe Rogan peddling conspiracy shit. I do.
Well, do you know what? The nature of some of these episodes, we're going to end up talking about it.
So Mulder goes out to this random field in the middle of the night, and he gets doused in a big bunch of chemicals from a chopper, which is presumably this new pesticide. Like, why was he in this field? Like,
well, he borrowed those awesome binoculars, didn't he? Which makes me wonder why he didn't have his awesome binoculars that he watched Deep Throat's funeral with. But yeah, he was just kind of chilling like in a field, wasn't he? What was he looking for? Was he looking just for anything? And then
maybe
plane just like floats over him and just fucking
he's like, there he is, get him. So Mulder figures out now that it's the mayor of the county or the town who's behind this. This mayor has been secretly dusting the county's crops with a new chemical to protect the economy, because the crops are failing and this chemical is getting rid of the bugs and whatever. So it's to protect the economy. Scully, however, says that whatever chemical Mulder got blasted with, he's fine. So it's like, okay, right. Yeah. But he's not, because Mulder starts seeing the mad shit on the TV and becomes convinced he's now receiving the subliminal messaging, which he is. We see that he is. He can see him now, can he?
But isn't that bit... So, like, he sees the words do it on the TV, and then it cuts to a woman dancing wearing a T-shirt that says do it. And I thought that was just on the TV. I thought that was just like an advert or something. And I was like,
it could be.
He's not seeing anything.
It could because he's been doused with the chemicals and he's starting to see those things without whoever's sending the messages starting on him yet. I don't know.
So I'm just going to go with, in my brain, is that it wanted us to believe that he was seeing the messages, but then it cut to the advert. So it was like, that was the advert really. So we were fooled, but then later on, we will become unfooled.
Unfooled. He does start seeing the messages. There's a really great quote here. Mulder says, "Fear, it's the oldest greatest tool of power. If you're distracted by fear of those around you, it keeps you from seeing the actions of those above, which I thought was really relevant to today. I thought that was really, nothing's changed in the past, 30 odd years.
Yeah.
I thought that was really, really cool.
Should get that on a t-shirt.
A now heavily armed Ed is at home, and a blood drive volunteer rings at his house, which is like the worst person to turn up at his house, because he's got this fear of blood, and then of course somebody's like looking to take blood.
Well, the bit when he was about to, just before he bought the guns, that woman was like, "Hello, sir, can I would you like to take place in the blood drive?" And he was just like shitting himself, and he started walking away, obviously scared, and the woman was like, "Sir, come back, sir." It's like, leave the fucking poor dude alone. Right, I went to the supermarket yesterday, right, and quite often they have people standing outside the supermarket trying to sell you a
breakdown cover.
Yeah, but they're always asking you who are you paying your electric bill with, and I'm just like, I'm always polite because it's just a job, and but I really don't like this kind of thing, because I don't like, I have enough distractions when I'm trying to go shopping anyway, so I always put both headphones in so that I can just pretend that I haven't heard them, right? But yesterday this girl was just like jumping in front of me and stuff, and I was just like, oh my fucking god, who'd you pay your electric bill with? I was just like, I'm okay, thank you. And she was like, oh, what about this? I was like, honestly, please, I'm okay. And then I just went in, did shopping, I came out, and then she got me again on the way back out with this other dude. And I just told them that I don't pay for electric, and then ran away.
Do you remember the Guranga monks who would turn up at the car park for festivals looking for donations? Do you remember those pricks?
No.
Don't you remember the monks that used to turn up whenever we go to download? We pull up at the car park and the monks would be there, and they'd be like, hey man, I'm doing this for charity, have you got anything? And they were just like these slacker stoner fucking, you must remember them.
No, not at all.
They were there like every year.
Nah, I don't know, I'd never heard of them.
They would just come to the car park, and when everyone was pulling up, they'd be like, hey man, and they'd, you give them the old, sorry mate, I haven't got any cash on me. And then like in later years, they had one of those chip and pin scanner things.
No. I was always pretty.
That was a scam. I wonder where the hell that money went to.
Yeah, their pockets probably. I was probably always a bit too inebriated to remember, to be fair.
Yeah, so this blood drive woman, she will not stop ringing this doorbell in the most annoying way possible. So, I mean, I think Ed is justified in shooting her, to be honest. The TV and his watch are urging Ed to kill. Yeah. So we cut away, and Mulder and Scully make it to Ed's, and they discover that the door is unlocked and the place is trashed. All of his tech has been smashed apart, and they find his empty gun case. So do we find out what happens to that blood drive woman? Is she dead, or?
I don't know, but when they get there, his doorbell has been ripped clean off. So I'm assuming that she went away and he went to his doorbell first, ripped it off so that nobody else could come and bother him. And then it just all got to him, and then he just went off. I'm going to assume she's alive, but yeah, who knows?
So Mulder is able to track Ed, who is on a bus, and he's getting messages from the thing. So he leaps off it before it can arrive at the hospital. And Mulder and Scully think because Ed is afraid of giving blood, he's going to go on a killing spree at the hospital, but he outsmarts them, and instead he's gone to a blood drive in the park. He climbs the clock tower, clutching his rifle like he's Ned Flanders in that dream on The Simpsons. He's shooting all the homers. So he's about to go on his killing spree. I thought this was quite sinister.
Oh, very sinister, yeah, absolutely. Fucking grim.
So Ed opens fire, and Mulder spots where he's hiding and sprints up the stairs. Now, we don't see if Ed actually hits anyone, because it's just people running, duck and cover, and he's just firing off. Probably a wise decision if you're going to put this on TV. You can't just show like a mass shooting in full glory, can you?
Yeah. He's kind of erratic with his aim, isn't he? He's just sort of like screaming in between shots, and it just shows people just running away. So yeah. It's probably a good choice to not show, because it would have probably got banned, really, I imagine.
Yeah. So as he's running up the stairs, Mulder trips and falls, just like he's me on your death trap stairs. Like he just goes on his face.
Death trap stairs. Hold on, right. My stairs are normal stairs, right? You fell over down them and you were like, fucking slippy carpet. It's not, it's just a normal carpet.
Yeah, but I wasn't used to the texture of your carpet that I just went.
Yeah, because your fucking carpets are made out of rubber. Oh, fucking hell, this carpet's slippy. It's not made out of rubber. Slippy carpet is one of the funniest fucking things I've ever heard in my life.
It's true. A couple of years ago, I fell down the stairs of my house. I slipped and I landed right on my coccyx, right on my back, and I was sore for about 3 weeks. Couldn't sit down properly. And after like the last week where it healed, I was like, yes, it's healed. And I was doing Tough Mudder, which is it's an assault course, very difficult assault course. And so I did Tough Mudder, and I came to like the third to last activity that you had to go, and I sat down to like slide across the mud and through the water, and I sat down on my ass and I re-injured myself. So I was walking around, clutching my back, going yeah, I couldn't complete the last 3 exercises because I injured my ass.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so Mulder and Ed struggle, and Mulder is able to get the better of him and arrest Ed and take him into custody. Mulder wants to question Ed, but he is brought back down to earth by the sheriff, who's like, Mulder, you know more about what happened to him than he does. Like, what does Mulder think's going to happen?
Yeah, that's true.
Mulder wants to call Scully and tell her everything that's happened, but he receives a message on his cell phone saying, all done, bye-bye, which leaves this episode somewhat unsolved. We never find out who or what was behind the messages. Yeah, like we've said, fucking chilling.
Yeah, way bad that we didn't find out. They could have tacked on an extra 5 minutes and revealed that it was some fucking guy or some corporation, or it was the mayor or whatever, but no, just left it completely unknown. That was great.
Yeah, perfect. So good. So fucking good. So yeah, I think we both agree, both a thumbs up for this episode. 2 thumbs up.
Big thumbs up from me. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's just a really solid conspiracy that's not related to UFOs. You know, I mean, the government might be involved or whatever, but yeah, I fucking love this.
Yeah, it was spot on. Great acting. Great choice of actors for the antagonist in this. I really like the cop who's Mulder's buddy. That little tiny lacking bit of Scully. Very sad. But it was nice to see them back together, so that was good.
Yeah. Okay, have you got any trivia regarding this episode?
Well, Dan, you'll never fucking believe this. Yes.
What?
Play the jingle. Second appearance in the series of the Lone Gunman. They were originally only intended to appear in the season 1 episode EBE, but they proved so popular on internet forums that they were revived for this episode. Yeah, baby, yeah. And then they ended up getting their own show, which is cool.
They did.
Oh, this is very interesting. The doorbell buzzing that drives Ed mad is actually spelling out kill in Morse code.
Fuck. Really?
Yeah, that's cool. One downvote.
Well cool.
Fucking hell.
Downvote? I'll find them. I'll find them.
I know. I'll find them and I'll make them fucking upvote it. Yeah. When the cop is talking to Mulder about the cities that might be accustomed to murders, he says that celebrities don't drive around with guns to their heads in this city. This is a reference to O.J. Simpson, which So you remember when Ed was seeing all those visions on the TVs? Obviously it was Charles Manson, and one was a car driver, and I was wondering if that was OJ.
I can't remember.
Oh! It's on the next bit of trivia. Would you like to hear this?
Oh,
right. Are you ready? The images Edward Funch, or Funchy as he liked to be called, sees on the TVs in the department store are Charles Manson, the attack on Reginald Denny, the beating by police of Rodney King, the conflagration that resulted from the FBI's and ATF storming of the Davidians compound in Waco, Texas, the LA riots that followed the acquittal of King's attackers, and the O.J. Simpson police chase. I mean, it's all real life stuff. Yeah, that's what I said about that corn video. It's all real stuff.
Yeah, it's all like American cultural stuff from the time, you know, like the Waco and the OJ thing and the Rodney King stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's fucking really cool. Really cool.
Yeah, it's ballsy as shit as well, isn't it? Oof, grim. I've always struggled with stuff like that in films, you know, because like, is it Black Klansman that has the ending of that? Spoilers for the ending. Has a shit ton of real life footage of bad shit happening. Oof, I don't like it.
Yeah. A lot of all the racism that's been going on over the past 200-300 years.
Yeah, like I'm not a fan because of what it is, but it just does something to me. I don't like seeing it. But that's exactly what they're aiming for. Nobody in their right mind likes to get like that. So there.
Yeah.
Pointing out the obvious for you there. Although he had played the monster in the previous episode, the host, this marks the first time that Darren Morgan contributed to the series in a writing capacity. I think he wrote the episode.
He did, yes.
Yeah, well done, Darren. The good brother. At 28 minutes, Mulder talks about supermarkets using subliminal messages to deter shoplifting. Such use had been reported 11 years before this story was first aired.
It's like when you, when you go into a Home Bargains and you see those giant cutouts of the police.
Every time I see them, I think that's a real person. I can tell myself a million times I know it's not, but it always looks like one. Have you seen it though? Like sometimes they have like a badass cop who's like looking really mean, but then sometimes they have a happy one. I'm sure that's because the bad cop was like scaring kids and stuff. I'm sure it was.
Well, kids need to learn that cops are their enemy from an early age. So.
Fucking hell. The story was inspired by writer Glenn Morgan's own hematophobia. Bonnie McRoberts Microwaves says favorite dishes, even though Americans spell it as favorite without the U. This is due to the fact that even though the show takes place in the US, it was filmed in British Columbia, Canada. I didn't know the Canadians spell it like we do. Do you know what? That makes me feel better about every email that I fucking write that tells me that I've spelled favorite wrong or color wrong, Aisling Gear, the actress portraying Bonnie McRoberts, was one of the few adult film actresses to land regular roles on a US network TV series while maintaining a porn career. Space Above and Beyond and the X-Files. Hell yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm going to read all these because there's only a few left. When Scully is examining Mulder at the hospital, Mulder sees subliminal messages on the TV. One has a woman in a shirt that says, "Do it." The woman is Leslie Hoffman from the TV exercise show Get Fit with Leslie. Thanks, Leslie. Sheriff Spencer is notable in the X-Files pantheon as an authority/law enforcement figure who not only believes Mulder's theories, but defends him. To Larry Winter, an authority figure who reacts with more typical skepticism and hostility. Of course, it helps that Mulder's explanation is more plausible than usual, even if it is ultimately right.
He's not going out saying, "Oh yeah, it's definitely aliens," because he usually just barrels in and just says that,
Mulder makes reference to this episode in a later episode about subliminal messaging causing people to kill. Wet Wired from 1996. When he says to Scully over the phone, "We've dealt with these kind of people before. Unusual Suspect and Kitten are also about mind control by government, but through the use of gas instead of subliminal messages." That was long and boring. I do apologise. William Sanderson, who plays Edward Funch, or Funchy as he likes to be known, the character with hematophobia, would later go on to play the sheriff in HBO's True Blood, 2008. The shooting carried out by Funch, or Funchy as he liked to be named, is reminiscent of the Texas Tower sniper shootings perpetrated by Charles Whitman in August 1966. However, Whitman killed more people, 16. And that is the end of, that's a very grim end to our nice little fun trivia corner of the week.
That was. Yeah. Have you got any spooky story lined up for us?
Any spooky story? Let me just firstly say, when I was looking into this DDT thing, I was like, well, that's obviously what I'm going to talk about. But then it kind of, any information I found was kind of explained in this, the conspiracy side of it. One extra bit from that was that people believe that chemtrails, this whole chemtrail conspiracy thing, is DDT as well. Okay. So, yeah, I'm not going to go into that. I'm going to go into something that I find way more fucking interesting, and it is mass hysteria. So, the first story of mass hysteria, because this episode is kind of mass hysteria, isn't it? It's like a bunch of people who wouldn't ever normally do it, and then they go out starting killing people and blah, blah, blah. You get me. You get my thought process here. So, the first story, and I won't go too much into each one, but I've got 3 for you. The first story is the Dancing Plague of 1518. The Dancing Plague of 1518, or Dance Epidemic of 1518, 1518, which sounds like a really good album name, was a case of dancing mania that occurred in Strasbourg, Alsace, modern-day France, in the Holy Roman Empire from July 1518 to September 1518. Somewhere between 50 and 400 people took to dancing for weeks. There are many theories behind the phenomenon, the most popular being stress-induced mass hysteria, suggested by John Waller. Other theories include ergot poisoning. There is controversy concerning the number of deaths. So I'll just skip to veracity of deaths. Controversy exists over whether people ultimately danced to death. Some sources claim that for a period, the plague killed around 15 people per day, but the sources of the city of Strasbourg at the time of the events did not mention the number of deaths or if there even were fatalities. So yeah, like some people, the theories are food poisoning, causing people to just lose their shit and just start dancing. Some on here, they think it could be some kind of fungus. Hold on, let me read the sentence. So the fungus that they think people might have ingested is structurally related to the drug LSD and the substance from which LSD-25 was originally synthesized. The same fungus has also been implicated in other major historical anomalies, including the Salem witch trials. So fucking hell. So everyone is like essentially on shrooms, but bad shrooms, tripping that all this paranoia shit is happening and it's making people dance. Oh, God. And
insane, isn't it?
And another theory is stress-induced mass hysteria.
It's like, so when you read like the dates from July to September, 3 months, isn't it? That's 3 months of pure dancing.
Yeah, pure dancing, baby. Yeah. What were they dancing to, I wonder? Because the tunes back then wouldn't have been that good, would they?
Just that constantly for 3 months.
Oh, yeah. Imagine that with a beat to it. That's cool. Yeah, you certainly wouldn't have had Follow the Leader to listen to. Right, so next story. Let's go. So this is the story of Tanganyika laughter epidemic. The laughter epidemic of 1962 was an outbreak of mass hysteria or mass psychogenic illness, MPI, rumoured to have occurred in or near the village of Kashasha on the western coast of Lake Victoria in Tanganyika, now Tanzania, which I'm going to refer to it as if I have to again because the other pronunciation has tripped me up twice, with the unification of Zanzibar 2 years later near the border with Uganda. So the laughter epidemic began on January the 30th, 1962 at a mission-run boarding school for girls in Kashasha. It started with 3 girls and spread throughout the school, affecting 95 of the 159 pupils aged 12 to 18. Symptoms lasted from a few hours to 16 days, averaging around 7 days. The teaching staff were unaffected and reported that students were unable to concentrate in their lessons. The first outbreak in Kashasha lasted roughly 48 days. The school was forced to close on March the 18th, 1962. When it reopened on May the 21st, a second phase of the outbreak affected an additional 57 pupils. The all-girl boarding school reclosed at the end of June. So essentially, they just broke out into laughter. Hysterical laughter.
See, I believe this one because laughter is contagious. It is so contagious.
Yeah. I think it's like shared psychosis, you know? I think at some point they didn't know what they were laughing about. Maybe 3 people started just like with a joke and then someone overheard them laughing, laughed at their laughter, everyone caught onto it, and then like another classroom heard it and it just sort of went on like that, and then I think they just all went fucking mental from it. So causes and symptoms of the laughter epidemic included laughter and crying, beside general restlessness and pain, as well as fainting, respiratory problems and rashes. Many of the symptoms experienced were stress induced due to various external factors.
Do you know you can actually die from laughter? If you laugh too much, you can actually die. I had a list of people that died from laughter years ago, and the funniest ones were, there was this farmer from like Spain or somewhere, and he laughed himself to death because he got his donkey drunk and was watching it eat grapes. He thought it was the funniest thing he'd ever seen, so he laughed himself to death.
He got his donkey drunk
and watched it try and eat grapes, so he laughed himself to death. Yeah, I thought it was the funniest thing ever. And my favourite one was this back in like the 1600s. There was a political commentator who, when he found out that Charles II had been restored to the English throne, he laughed himself to death. laughed himself into oblivion.
God, that must have been so funny for him. Like, that's genuinely mental.
Go on, give us the third one.
So the third one, I think I've accidentally deleted the tab, so I'll just find it one moment, please. Okay, so in Leroy, New York, people there experienced a famous mass hysteria event starting in 2011 when numerous teenage girls developed unexplained tics, spasms, and vocalizations similar to Tourette syndrome, baffling doctors, parents, and officials despite ruling out toxins, infections, or other environmental causes, with health officials eventually diagnosing it as mass psychogenic illness, MPI, triggered by stress, a diagnosis many families struggle to accept. The incident gained national attention, leading to media coverage and investigations, including by Aaron Brockovich, but ultimately concluded as a psychological phenomenon, not a physical contagion. So this began in October 2011. It was affecting students at Leroy Junior Senior High School. The symptoms included involuntary tics, facial spasms, violent limb gestures, and sudden verbal outbursts. It affected primarily teenage girls, but also teenage boys and women. So have you heard about this one before?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't heard this one.
I think I've heard it on some podcast or something.
I do believe in things like mass hysteria, mass psychosis, and like human minds interlinking and copying each other. Because, you know, when you go to something like a gig, you know, everybody's singing, everybody's in the same mood, and like everyone's becomes one with each other. And it's the same with a football match. You know, fans chanting, everyone's got that energy. It's also the same thing with like a church. You know, when people singing hymns and stuff in a church. I mean, maybe not, that doesn't happen as much today, but I think back in the days, people like linking up. It's like mob mentality. You know, when there's an angry mob, it only takes one person to throw that first brick, and then everybody else thinks, oh, we've got permission to do it now, and then they all just let loose, and they all look at each other, and body language, they copy each other, because you don't realize how much you copy another person's body language, you know, and speech patterns. So it's definitely a thing.
Yeah. Oh no, it is. I'm literally on a list of mass panic cases now, which is it's very, very fucking long, and I was gonna just read a couple off of the titles, but I'll tell you what, I'll read a couple of little ones. So the first one, I've gone from 2000 to the present because it actually starts in the Middle Ages. So if you need any more proof of this shit happening, then you are mental. This one's called Monkey Man of Delhi. Rumors about a hairy monkey-looking monster attacking people in Delhi in India led to the deaths of several panicked people who fell from roofs and stairwells while fleeing from what they thought was a monster. It's fucking crazy. North Carolina, 2002, 10 girls developed seizures and other symptoms at rural North Carolinian high school. Symptoms persisted for 5 months across various grade levels. Incidents tended to happen outside of class, with half of all incidents estimated to have occurred around lunch hour. Half of the affected were cheerleaders or former cheerleaders. It's just fucking crazy. It just goes on and
I'm on the same list. Yeah, there's quite a few mad things. Do you remember here we go. Here's one that's really, I find this one really interesting. Do you remember the 2016 clown sightings? Do you remember when everyone was like an evil clown?
I remember that. Yeah. Is that on here?
Yeah. Sightings of people in evil clown costumes in the United States, Canada, and 18 other countries were dismissed as a case of mass hysteria, stating that the fear of clowns may be an underlying cause.
That was real, though, wasn't it?
That was real. Yeah, there were a lot of people. I think
people were dressing up like clowns. And
people were dressing up like clowns. Yeah.
God, as if that was 10 years ago. Because I remember I was gonna dress like a clown for Halloween one of those years, and I remember choosing not to in case I got like attacked by a mob or something.
So there you go. Thank you for that spooky mass hysteria discussion.
It's fascinating. If we ever want to do a podcast about spooky mass hysteria stories, then we could do it because there's so much of it. But it's fun to talk about.
Right. Thank you everybody for listening. You can get in touch with us on Blue Sky at dark-talk.uk. Try and reply to every message on there. We will see you next time on the Dark Talk Files for episode 4 of season 2, which is Sleepless. So we will see you next time. Thank you everybody for listening. Goodbye and good night.
Goodbye.